Oh,
Mine?
mine, I
Ryan's.
think.
Test.
Yours is fine.
The net
I
cat
love
is
it.
dancing.
Scroll down.
You don't sound as
it
beautiful.
changed my setting on me. Hold on.
I knew it.
Click.
I could.
So yeah, this was Micah.
Micah, yeah, I was gonna say, it was Micah who had those.
And,
Micah did a new speaker track.
I just
Wow.
loved it. Some friends of mine and we always refer to Black Cat as Void Kitty. So Void Kitty, that cat, is listening. Yay!
Yay!
Nice.
I did like a good ceiling cat meme
That
back
was
in the day.
Oh my gosh, right?
Yeah.
The best.
And I kid you not, I already posted it to LinkedIn and I've had some wonderful replies. I have never gotten a coin before, and I kid you not, this is
Awesome. Look at
so
wow.
amazingly awesome.
That's
so
awesome.
those coins came in midday the day before the conference. They almost didn't make it.
Gosh.
Yeah. We thought we were gonna have
Wow.
to just hold on to them for next year. To tell you the truth, I wasn't gonna ship them to you. That's too much work.
Well, but they say 2025.
Do they? Oh, then we would have been screwed. I didn't design the coins.
No, they
Shout
say
out to Michael
2025. I've been the hardest part about deciphering the binary is typing all the ones and zeros accurately.
I also don't know what it says, so
I do.
Okay.
And no, I'm not going to tell you.
Wow.
Well, that would spoil it. Come on.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
But yeah.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Can you at least show us the other side of the coin so we can all try it at home and play along?
Well, one disadvantage is it is very, very shiny.
Oh.
So it doesn't show.
Yeah, I can't see it. There you go.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Back it up a little.
Huh.
I can tell what it says right now. It says,
Someone
remember to
snip
drink
that.
your Ovaltine.
But no, so it's hexadecimal on the outside, and it's binary on the inside, and it's all the yummy things.
I will admit, Secure Ideas was there, and they were giving away a Bamboo Labs printer. If I don't win that printer, it's gonna be bullshit.
Was it the new one? They just dropped
No, it was the old. It was like the smallest one they have. I'm like,
okay, yeah.
The $2,000 printer, or then plus like the extra box that goes on top, which is like another $500 to hold your
AMS.
Dude, I want it. So
well, I
bad.
have the one behind me is the X one, right?
Yeah.
And I have can't see them, but there's double AMSs. I got two AMSs on top. Right there.
Wow.
Yeah, but the new one is even bigger print volume. But the thing that makes it awesome is it has two print heads. So it's really awesome for multi-material printing and other kinds of like complex printing. Like you can print stuff twice as fast, and you can also do, especially it's really, really useful if you want to do removable, supports. So what I'll do is one nozzle will print out the supports while the other one's printing the actual thing, and it makes it fly through. Yeah,
dude, they were printing up stuff at their booth, and I couldn't believe how fast it was as compared to my Honda Civic of a Frankenstein 3D printer.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Civic.
That thing is put together with gum and a couple bolts. Like there's a reason you guys don't see me printing anymore.
Yeah. Well, so that's a bed slinger. So the Bamboo Labs and some of the other newer ones are Core XY or Core XYZ. Which what happens is that with your bed slinger, they literally call it that because it slides back and forth to move. Well, the bed doesn't actually move in that direction. What happens is that the bed just raises up, and then you have the Core XYZ. So it does a lot. It prints a lot faster, right? So,
okay.
Yeah, it's a different way of printing, not just that it moves faster. So anyhow,
that one was still a bed slinger. It was whatever their smallest one is.
Yes, and they do have one. Yeah, exactly.
It was still lightning fast, and it was printing out some cool stuff, and I was like, "This is stupid. I hate myself. Why did I buy an Ender 3?"
Yeah, I know. But it looks like we have a chicken story today.
I really like Honda Civics too. All right, Honda Civics have their place, especially if you're into JDM and you like fixing your own stuff. Okay, I had a Subaru. I know how blown up heads work. All right, I've changed transmissions. Why do you think I bought the Honda Civic 3D printer? I knew what I was getting into somewhat, and now I want the BMW where I don't have to do anything anymore, and it just levels itself.
So that's how I
That's not
got.
how BMWs work.
Yeah.
BMWs are usually more maintenance.
All right, that's a good point. Well, I don't even know what kind of car works anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like, and
So,
give me
Yeah, I
an
think
NA.
you got the analogy
but-
backwards.
Do any of us really know?
You want the
Anymore.
Apple. You want the Apple version, right?
I'm not gonna say that. How dare you?
Ah.
The one that kind of like just works, right?
It just works if you don't want to play video games, is what it does, right?
What?
It doesn't play.
Wow.
I don't know. I haven't used my work sent
You
me
don't
an
have
Apple
one.
and
You
a
don't even have
Windows
one.
box.
You could be playing all these beautiful video games. I'm just kidding. It's not really.
They sent me both, and I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I logged into both, got them both working, and then I just stayed on the Windows box. I still have the Apple box. I tried to log into it today, and I've realized I forgot the password. And I'm too scared to tell anybody. Now I'm telling all you guys.
Dude, password managers. Have you not heard of
You
password
just told everybody
managers?
that you.
Yeah,
It happens, man.
it's okay.
You can't hack your way in.
I remember because I have like my passwords are pretty complex, but I have like some matching characters like where they go to. And I remember Apple like saying that I couldn't do that, and so I like switched up the password, and I don't remember which one I switched it to. So
Yeah, no, I did that recently too, to where I'm like, what was in the password manager was not the right password.
yeah,
And I'm like, oh, crud, I just set this recently. I'm like, wait, I think I remember the password, and I tried it from memory, and I'm like, yep, memory password, let me back in. I am going to update that in the password manager because I could not be using a password that I can just like guess in 2 tries. So, it's
So
like,
here's
nope.
Look at that.
here's what I do, so I don't ever have to do that anymore. I just
What's
use
that?
the YubiKey, right? And there's two reasons why you should consider this. Okay, number one is that if you do a long press, it will just print out a password, right, or just a long text, right? So if you have any device that you want to log into, you can just set it all to the same password. It's like 35 characters. You'll never be able to, guess it or whatever, right? The second thing is that it supports keyed base, so PKI, right?
Uh-huh.
And so what happens is when I plug this into a Mac, and also it works with Windows, it'll just ask for a PIN, and then I unlock it, so I never actually have to use that. So then I always have my original password. The only thing I will say before you go all out there and get one, get 2, because if this thing breaks, you're in like a real hurt locker
Yes.
for like how to get back in. So have
I'm
a plan.
gonna go 2 ways with this. First I set up biometrics,
Uh-huh.
and for some reason not letting me log in with a fingerprint. I don't know why. I haven't opened a ticket or anything, so we'll figure that out later. The other thing is I have 3 of those, and I just haven't set anything up yet.
Nothing. Oh my god.
I actually have. I'm not gonna lie. I have my second one on the way because I found out that popsicle juice from my daughter doesn't work with Ubi keys. So
No, done.
yeah,
Oh no, it wouldn't.
yeah. So I got the definition of a sticky key.
Ah.
Yeah, having 3 YubiKeys and not using them is like having 3 cars and walking to work.
Pretty much.
No, I'm just like so
Dancing with a
tired
bobby
of all
cat.
this stuff. Like, I'm just like, I got just another thing I have to carry. I'm already doing all these things,
Yeah.
and then I have my home lab. I had a RAM stick go bad in my home lab. That
Uh-oh.
took me forever to figure out.
Ouch.
Then I had to wait for Taiwan, and like they shipped the new RAM from Taiwan, and then I was like,
Dun, 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 dun.
we just need to roll the finger. I need to get out of this. I'm just gonna dig myself into a deeper hole.
Oh, so somebody just brought this up before we jump into it. There's
Yeah.
also the Only Key, which is another one of these key devices. This one just has a pen to enter on it. It's kind of cool. So,
That is
anyways,
pretty cool.
yeah. Anyhow, let's roll that beautiful finger footage.
Woo!
All right, here we go, gentlemen and ladies.
Welcome to Black Hills Information Security, talking about the news. I am your host today, Ralph May, and I have not read one single bit of these articles.
As it should be. As it should be.
But I will say we do have a chicken article.
That was the only one I read. That was the only article I read. The one chicken article.
Saved by the chicken. All right.
Saved by the chicken. We also have some more ransomware, the usual stuff. Oracle breach, the denial of the denial. We talked about it. We said these guys have been breached. They don't want to admit it. And guess what? Now they're going to have to admit it. So anyways, I am joined by an illustrious cast of many characters, including BSD Bandit, who never shows up to the show. So welcome for showing up. As our usual contestants here. So thank you all for joining us. And thank you, viewers, for listening to me talk. I don't know. This is weird every time I think about it.
At the conference this weekend, San Diego B-Sides, I was approached by several people asking for more chicken articles or claiming there needs to be more chicken articles. So here you go, everybody.
Is that what we're starting with?
Yeah.
Do you want to start with it or end with it?
We can start or end with it. I don't know. Yeah, I feel
it's not a lot. It's not a lot, but it's
there's not going to be not much for a chicken article, right? Like how is chicken and cybersecurity like going together? Unless they have like chicken AI or something, that sounds like something we should get on.
I could probably train an LLM to talk like Cleghorn Longhorn.
Yeah.
Like That would
be interesting. I say, this is not AI. Nice program, but it has a mind like a steel trap. Like these are things that you can literally like put out there. That would be interesting.
All right, so we'll come back to the chicken article. Do you guys want to start with this Oracle one? I felt like that one was kind of hot. And it's obviously the only one that I actually have some backstory too, so somebody else can lead. I think it was last week, right? We talked about the Oracle security data breach, right? Mm-hmm. So what had happened was, if you hadn't listened to last week, is that Oracle, on one of the breach forums or whatever they're calling it this week, there was a post about a data leak for Oracle, and they provided a bunch of credentials from their SSO, and Oracle was like, nah, man, that's not us. They pretty much pulled the Shaggy defense. And we kind of called it out. We were like, this will probably be real. And it does indeed look like it was real, even though I think still to this day, Oracle's like kind of not acknowledging it. Right. Yeah. What do you guys think here?
They didn't acknowledge it? I thought they did. Did they or did they not? There's too many articles about this.
I know.
Yeah. I do like the one, and I shared this one from, I confuse his name, but it's Kevin Beaumont Gossi the dog. I always try to call him like Kevin Gossi, but no.
Okay, got it.
Yes, and this was updated, and then they go, there's like the archive.org exclusion process to remove evidence. They forgot to remove like the they go. It's like, okay, so all these threat actors like claims that they got access. They're trying to refute them, but then it's like, well, they're also trying to clean up the evidence. And I saw from the, I think from when I dug into like the Finastra data breach in November, like I noticed a thing on breach forums where prior to basically like right before and right after a threat actor will post their stuff, they will kind of delete and recreate their account. So that it effectively on the forums like purges all their history. So then they'll go, oh, hey, here's me posting this with like one post is hey, I have all this information when there's been a history there. It's like, well, a month ago you had 34 posts and 13 threads, and now that you post this, you have just this one post. And then you go back in a week, and that same user has no posts whatsoever, but they've rejoined just yesterday, and they invited 2 other new users that joined within a minute of the invite being sent out, and both within a minute of each other. So you go, okay, so they're just really just rinsing and repeating. They're rinsing their profiles. So when that's a long way to say when you're getting to that evidence of like, oh, well, we can't trust this because they only have like one post and they just joined in March. how do we know this is legit? It's like, yeah, they're using a lot of they burn down their accounts, and there's more than likely if you dig into that user on breach forums and look at their invites, they more than likely just invited a new user that immediately joined, and that's basically just them moving to a new account.
Yeah. So the other thing too is that there is definitely some more like facts coming out, and also Oracle is saying, or sorry, all right, check this out. This one I love. Oracle is saying that it wasn't compromised because Oracle rebranded Oracle Cloud to Oracle Classic now, and they're saying Oracle Cloud did not have an incident, but Oracle Classic did have an incident.
So we can do that?
Making this up.
Yeah,
making this up. Yes.
Wordsmithing is the theme of the week here.
Yes.
So we might get to that story, but wordsmithing things and yeah.
All right.
Well,
I know.
wordsmithing or spin.
Or spin, whatever. See, there you go.
Same,
You're spinning the wordsmithing.
It's like saying decaf and caffeinated. The decaf was compromised, but the caffeinated is still good.
Yeah.
So I think I know the answer to this, but I want someone else to clarify. If your company showed up in the breach in the data in this, what are some of the defensive or reactive controls that you should immediately to take if your name were to pop up in that? Because I know there's a tool you can go and check to see if you're listed anywhere in this breach. Does anybody want to pipe up about that? So I don't have to say it.
What should you
do? What should you do? What should you do if your name did get listed in the data that was in the breach?
Oh, I mean, panic, run. No, I mean, no. So I mean, here I'll take my stab, right? So look at resetting those accounts, right? Like, I mean, all of them, everything, right? Mm-hmm. And however those are being authenticated, I mean, let's just assume that they're all compromised, and you should go through like an account reset for all of them. So.
That's all I wanted. That was exactly. I was going to say just reset any connections you ever have with NetSuite or Oracle or anything. Just hopefully you didn't do it on a Friday when payroll was ready to go, right? Just
makes it worse.
Maybe not.
Yeah, that's actually one of my sites. It's actually see if you've been breached. You just have to enter your social, mother's maiden name, just a couple of bits of information.
We'll check everything.
I guarantee you, I will be able to tell if you've been breached or not.
Your first dog, the street you lived on.
Send us all the information.
So, what have we learned here? That Oracle is just as bad with security as they were 20 years. It's like. This is even worse now. They're like just digging a hole, and they're like, "No, I swear we're not digging a hole." And everyone's like, "Look, I see the hole." You're like, "No, man, that's someone else's hole." Like,
well, are they actually worse, or do we just have better visibility into when stuff happens with their stuff?
Is there a better marketplace for threat actors? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm saying. I mean, it's like. Okay, did more of XYZ happen in the past or in the present, or is it just that now we hear about it more?
Mm-hmm. Well, hold on. So I think two things, right? So we're talking about like whether they have better or worse security, and I'm actually not even saying they do or don't. I guess it's more of how they handle it. Like usually they attack people that talk about some security thing or threaten to sue them or do whatever. And at this point, they're like, well, we can't sue this person, so we'll just deny it. I mean, they literally went shaggy defense, like all the way down the line.
I do think they tend to hide it. They try to hide it more. I think the security, the lack of security is still the same. It's just that it's the bar has. They're more concerned about the image more so than just actually fixing things. I think it's just more so, and I think they went into panic mode when they actually did get breached. They're like, okay, we got to do damage control like right away, because this is the era of cancel culture, as you know, and it's one bad thing gets out there about you, it kind of like runs its own narrative for like ever now more than ever. No pun intended.
And it's the initial narrative that works, because we've seen this. Like I'll name names. Like when like Okta had the data breach, and they're like, there's only like 1% of customers were impacted, and they come back and they're like, wait, did we say 1%? We meant like 100%. So we actually, and it was like they just didn't have the
off just a little bit.
Yeah, they had like the selection like filters wrong. But there's been numerous companies that have done that to where they go, it really only affects like a small percentage of our companies, of our customers. And then, a week later, a couple days later, it's like, well, no, it's much more significant that. Well, nobody really notices that secondary follow up of the actually it affected like more,
Right.
Order of magnitude more than they initially said. And I think we've also looked at this, like, stock prices, customer confidence doesn't get impacted when they do something like that. Just lie right away or be deceptive right away, wordsmith it right away and go, it wasn't a breach. It's, well, we don't know if it's a credible source. We're going to say that this is a highly discredited source. And so there was nothing that happened. And then, if you follow along with, us or other intel feeds and you go, well, actually it was a breach. Okay. The narrative had been for, 4 or 5 days now that it's like, it wasn't a breach.
And I want to point out there, Alex just called us an intel feed. We are not an intel feed.
Oh my goodness!
I said us or other intel feeds.
That makes it assume that we are an intel feed. I would not say we are. We are a satire. We are the onion of cyber intel feeds.
If you were finding out about things for the first time through us, like, you need to up your threat intel game.
Well, I think it's not if you're finding it out the first time, but if you're relying on us to tell you how to do
about it, please don't.
But you can send payment to no.
Doesn't it seem though like the polar opposite of the way things were handled? As like take Troy Hunt this week, for example, right? I mean, I don't know if we're going to talk about that article or not, but you look at the way that was handled, and it was handled within seconds. Because. And I think I mentioned this before, but I follow Troy Hunt's, his webcast on a really regular basis. And I replayed it today. And, his main concern was, oh my gosh, I want to notify my clientele before they hear it from anybody else. I want to get the real story out there so that they can take whatever precautions they need to do. And, it's like the polar opposite of what happened, with the other story.
Yeah. So what happened with Troy Hunt? What's this Mailchimp story? I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, it was just a Phish. It was, and he was jet lagged, and and of course I'm paraphrasing and not, I don't mean to speak for it, but I did hear the stream today. So he was phished, and he was very lack of sleep. I think he just traveled across the continent, and he just. It looked like something was a little amiss with his Mailchimp account. So he clicked on it. And I think to his defense too, he was saying that when he travels, he uses the iPad. So the iPad doesn't display the URL like it would on the computer. And so, so.
That's one of the disadvantages to doing anything on mobile devices. I mean, if you're on a desktop, you can hover so you can inspect the URL before you click on it. But with mobile, you don't have an equivalent feature, or at least not one that I know of. If I'm wrong on that, I would love to know how to do it.
And this is why you use a password manager.
Hold, you can get that sometimes. It'll give you a preview of at least in emails. If you tap on iOS, if you tap and hold like the sender person, it should show you what that is. Not tap to click, but just on the name itself.
Yeah, see, but that's
it's not
my
everywhere.
motor control issue, and some of us have.
That's true.
Those of us are getting older have more fine motor control issues, and
I pressed the button.
This is why
yeah.
This is the password manager, right? Like when you try to log in and the password manager doesn't recognize it, you're like, oh, wait a second. Like, why isn't? I'm not going to lie. That happens all the time, and I still put the password in. But it definitely makes me look and try to realize it a little bit more.
Yeah, he talks about that in the article about how, that should have saved him. But there's lots of sites where it doesn't fill it in. Yep. So, you just go look it up. And I've actually seen that before. I wish there was... That'd be a great feature for something like 1Password to let you know that this
I'm not saying anything here
doesn't look like legitimate code, right? But I mean, like, it's just supposed to be like an extra safety check as opposed to like the only way to prevent phishing. That's not really supposed to be what it's supposed to do, but it should be able to connect and be like, hey, this is typically where it logs in. This looks. And maybe let's update it. This is the actual site, that kind of thing. But
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
1Password, I'm pretty sure does that. It asks you if you want to. Are you sure you want to use this? It doesn't recognize this website.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it does have things built in.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
I mean, I have 1Password. I mean, I use it all the time.
What is this? Protection Mania? Password? What, one password versus YubiKey? Like
No.
this is what we're doing tonight?
Well,
Only one can survive.
Security.
Only
Password
one can
wars.
survive. Password wars.
So, anyways, kind of interesting article. I mean, the kind of the TLDR here is that he got phished, and the real thing lesson is that anyone can get phished, right?
Yeah.
You know, even the guy looking for people doing phishing stuff. So, you know, kind of interesting. Definitely well respected in this, you know, kind of data breach and other kinds of things like that. So, yeah, kind of interesting.
We're all human.
Well, yeah, and I think there's also like the takeaway that you know, this shows that you can't rely solely on user vigilance. Like the end user vigilance being like, okay, nobody's going to have a busy day, nobody's going to be flying through their emails, nobody's going to be jet lagged, and there are a lot of companies that their phishing defenses are exactly that. With the we're going to do training, we're going to have user vigilance. Like you should know better than to fall for this. And it's like, no, you as security defenders, like you need to put in place additional defenses for, you know, if your end user slips up, because if you're strictly relying on user vigilance, you're gonna get pwned just like, you know, Troy did.
Because it's kind of like a mechanism to kind of slow you down a little bit, just as hey, you know, that's what I kind of look at it as. It's just kind of like, okay, this doesn't work. Okay, slow down. It's kind of like just telling you, okay, slow down and make sure this is what you really want to do, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of like when you want to delete something that says, "Are you sure?"
Yeah,
you know?
like a speed
So,
bump.
yeah.
This is also, and he brings this up in the article, but this is also another great example where something like a KeyPass would have prevented this entirely. And even with a phishing website that is totally legit and you're totally clicking all the links and you're trying to log in, as soon as you get to that part where you have to use your your KeyPass, it's not going to work. And they're not going to be able to capture it, no matter how advanced their infrastructure of capturing and man in the middling and all the other things, right? So that is another great reason to use that on all the sites that do offer it, right? So,
and there's the rub that do offer it.
yes, Mailchimp does not offer it. Many other sites don't. Many sites have started to implement it though, and not for the security reasons. Some definitely for security reasons, but a lot have started to implement it for the convenience, right? Because you don't even need a username or a password. You can just present that key and they know exactly who you are. Yep, exactly. So it's just a faster way to log in, actually. So anyhow, interesting. What else do we got?
Nobody read the news, so we're looking.
I got one. This is a short one, and if anybody else has other ones after this, but has anyone installed Windows 11 from scratch?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Let me ask you this. Has anyone ever installed the Windows 11 without the internet?
Dude, I was trying to figure that out, and it does not look possible. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I bypass that every time. I can't believe I'm not going to have that feature again.
Yeah. So there is a couple loopholes in how to install Windows 11 without the internet, and Microsoft, being so benevolent, is removing actually one of those. So now the only way is you have to actually use Shift F10 and then jump into the terminal, command prompt, excuse me, and had to add a registry key just to bypass it. So and who knows how long that will last, but very frustrating if you have done this before, tried to install Windows 11 without the internet, or just to fight around the menu to get Windows 11 on a local account as opposed to adding a Microsoft account.
That's the hard part. I hate having that Microsoft account.
I'll tell you one thing. That going through that process made me take a nap. I mean, it was brutal.
Yeah. So
I always like the system. I always like creating a separate user just for things like games. I don't want my games to interfere with when I'm doing more serious stuff.
Right.
And, it keeps it away. I don't want to have my main 365 user ID tied to that because it's separate. Otherwise, what's the purpose of having it be separate?
That is true.
It is super annoying though that it's not like, set up without the internet. Just one button. Wouldn't that be easy, right? Like,
It would.
And now we have to literally hack our way into installing Windows 11. So
I never thought I'd see the day. See the day.
It's almost like we should all just move to Linux or something, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, is using
There's an idea.
Arch Linux is going to become less hackery than
the year of the Linux
using Windows. Yeah.
Or if you want to be like the 11th person in the world that uses BSD, come on over. We welcome you with open arms.
Hey, BSD
The 11th
is
person.
not bad. I mean,
what do you mean? I use BSD. Well, actually, it's Unix. It's Mac. Mac is Unix based.
It is.
I'm just, if you want to get close to where it all started.
That's always the running joke with FreeBSD. It's only 10 of you guys.
I mean, it sounds like they just assign roles. Like when you use BSD, like you're BSD bandit, like somebody's going to be like the
it's just all
BSD
handled.
deputy, the BSD marshal. Yeah,
the handles locked me in for life. Yes, so.
Yes.
There it is.
All right, you guys want to cook this chicken?
Are we already at time? You want to? We still got 30 minutes.
All right, we'll leave it for the last article. That's fair enough.
We leave it for the last 2 minutes.
Give me something else then.
Okay. Let's do how the FBI tracked and froze millions sent to criminals. Is that the one? No. What were you gonna say, Bronwen? Which one do you want?
I was gonna say, dare we tackle Signalgate?
No.
Goodness.
Oh.
This is not political. I don't.
Yeah, it's super. So just all right. I'm gonna try this. And
I think you got to, honestly.
Really high level, right?
Yep.
So try to keep the political piece as far out as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Just check it out. So you have Signal, okay? All right, cool. Mm-hmm. And you start a chat with somebody. Yay. All right. And so that is encrypted. Cool. But if you accidentally add the wrong person to the chat, now they're in the chat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they can see what you see, and that is encrypted, and they can only see what they have perfect forward secrecy, so they can only see once you added them. But eventually, right, if you don't realize they're in the chat and you say something that they shouldn't hear, then that's how it works, right? Yeah. I mean, there's no security was broken here. Now, the problem becomes is if you've got some really sensitive things that you should probably be not discussing, and you happen to add a journalist, right?
Oh, yeah.
On that
the
chat.
chief editor of.
Yes, and they may talk about this because they're a journalist. Why would they not, right? So that's the whole story, avoiding all political pieces, right?
Right.
That were in there. But literally that's it. So the moral is Signal cannot help you from making mistakes, especially adding the wrong people to a chat. It will not prevent that, right? And while Signal is very secure, it should not be used for really sensitive things because it's easy to add the wrong person. There you go.
And to add a little bit, and at the end of the day, there's no patch for people.
Yeah.
Well, and don't use Signal to get around record retention rules either.
Yeah,
you have the compliance things that we all know here. Like if you need to retain emails for 7 years, you're not going to put that stuff and say, you know what, that's too big of a problem. I'm just going to do all the stuff on Signal and delete it after 4 weeks. 4 weeks or something.
And this Signal situation should be a shout out to all messaging platforms.
Yep.
Be mindful of who's in your chat. Be mindful of what you're saying. I mean, whether it's WhatsApp, Telegram, even iMessenger for iPhone. Be mindful who you got. Yeah, all of them.
It was a PBKC. It was a problem between a keyboard and a chair.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And
mostly a phone.
one of the things I did like was how Malware Jake did a breakdown. I want to say it was for CNN, but I could be wrong. But I mean, he broke it down from the forensic standpoint. He also broke it down from the fact that in this specific case, other more secure options were available. So it was not only a user error in terms of adding a wrong person in, it was also a procedural error in terms of not following an established policy. And that's something that I know people, we run into it all the time. How many times have we discussed just today in this session how inconvenient good security can be?
Sure.
And yeah,
So
it can be insecure, but
Yeah.
just because a secure tool doesn't provide the appropriate emojis, that's not an excuse to not use the secure tool
Yeah.
when it's appropriate to use that secure tool. So,
Yeah, we didn't have enough cat emojis, so I just let the cat out the bag. I mean, just,
I need stickers.
That's not malware, Jake. That's Jacob.
Yeah, that's AI.
If you know, they called him Jacob. That's why, but nobody knows him as Jacob.
Well, and not also. I think Pseudo Veggies put in the chat something to the fact that that. I mean, APT's in the in the telecoms, right? So I know Signal's encrypted both ends, but I think there was a president. I don't know. I won't name the name. I know who it was, but who basically said, everything I do on my devices, I assume breach, right? I assume breach. So I mean, we have to consider that as well. I mean,
So I mean, other security people were also talking about like the device security itself, right? And these mobile, an iPhone has a certain level of security, but there is nation state threat actors who definitely can compromise them. So it's still not really a secure device, right? So but anyhow, that's what happened. Don't be dumb. And, it makes it easier, and follow the rules. Don't use it to get outside of retention policies. I think that's,
and wasn't there just like an FBI advisory about not using Signal?
Yeah.
There was.
It came out roughly in the same time frame, I think. This happened.
wait, what, about not using Signal?
I thought it was SMS, not using SMS.
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh, you're not using SMS. Okay, that's what it is. Sorry.
No, there was something about the insecurities of Signal. There was something for Signal. You're thinking of the FBI did something for SMS messages, but I believe the Pentagon sent something agency-wide about Signal. So you're both kind of right. So, but there's been the type of things, and there was the jokes about it being like, well, they sent it via email, and who checks email? I should have sent that notice about it.
You should have sent that notice on Signal. I would have totally got it.
On a group chat. I would have seen it.
Seems like an awful coincidence that went out, though.
Yeah.
Days after Signal Link, the Pentagon warned the app. Yeah, all right. I didn't even see that. That more sounds like some people are like shadow IT. They're like, we don't need to use the official Pentagon app. The Signal app is so much better.
Yeah. No, I remember, and probably there's a lot of other people I remember that it's like you have any sort of like minor hiccup in a skiff, like that is a problem. Like I did a base visit for a week, and I was told not to come there one day because they're like, you weren't in this area, were you? And I'm like, no. And I'm like, okay, somebody left the skiff door unlocked when they shut down at night, and it is like a big problem right now. But it's like, even with something like that oversight that they really clamped down on, it was like, well, first you have to like get over the bridge to the base, get access to the base, get access to the building, get access to the room that goes before the skiff, and then and then sure, your skiff is unlocked. But it was like heads are going to roll for this thing, and I'm seeing like more, and for proper reasons. Like they had a lot of emphasis on that, but I'm not seeing that here, and I hope there isn't any sort of like chilling effect on taking skiff procedures seriously if they if people are looking at others and going, well, they did this and nothing came of it, what's the big deal for my minor transgressions on handling skiff protocols or access.
It sounds like we're headed toward chicken, man. I'm running.
I know it's simmering. That chicken's simmering.
We've got some malware stuff.
Let's talk about ransomware. We haven't got that deep into it. It's kind of a good feeling one. All right, like the FBI did some things.
Oh, did they?
And
Interesting.
All right. Well, what did they do?
All right, so this article, the Caesar Entertainment hack, we all know about it, right? When they fell. What? I threw it in there.
No, I mean I didn't know they got hacked. There's no way.
Oh, okay. Fuck you. Anyway, I almost got the swear jar. Woo! It's a close one.
Well,
EFF doesn't need any money from me. But so when Scatter Spider got hit, right? It goes over pretty much how right off the bat they actually asked for 30 million and Caesar gave 15 million, but the FBI was actually able to freeze it by talking to some of the wallet, some of the big whatever crypto holders as it was being moved around. Let me read my description. This is the only one I did read. The FBI acted swiftly to prevent the hackers from moving the ransom fund, successfully freezing the substantial amount when the criminals attempted to convert the crypto into other forms. So it did start as BTC, right? Which I found a little bit weird. I always think of different coins nowadays when any type of ransomware payment's being made. But I guess BTC is probably the easiest one to get that much amount of that quickly. The FBI immediately hopped on it and got it all absolutely frozen, and showcasing their enhanced law enforcement capabilities with crypto.
Ooh, enhanced.
So just remember, Bitcoin is not anonymous. There's plenty of cool tools out there that can actually track you and easily know where it's going.
Like chain analysis. There's all kinds of other tools.
Oh, yeah.
Once again, go ahead.
It's not 2013.
Yeah, there's good mixers too. I mean, there's other, but like you did say though, it's kind of hard to get, $30 million and a nana coin or whatever you want to call it, right?
yeah, right. But hats off the Caesars too. It was a $30 million ransom. They only had to pay 15. Right, that's some good bargaining right there.
Half off.
So wait, I may have missed this, but was the FBI able to do this without having any sort of encryption backdoor that they need in order to solve crimes?
So what I read is they were able, so the court documents state that they tracked the cryptocurrency to a place called Ava Labs, Inc., and requested them to immediately freeze the Bitcoin. It was 402.4 Bitcoins in an Avalanche wallet.
Okay. Well, maybe I was being a bit facetious here because you see all these arguments that say we must have encryption backdoors because otherwise we won't be able to catch criminals.
Yes.
Like we have to have encryption backdoors. They have to be there. You have to provide with some sort of backdoor so that we can do this. Otherwise, like the criminals are just going to go nuts and we're not going to be able to do anything about it. And it's like, no, you can solve crimes without having encryption backdoors. You can't stop cyber criminals without having encryption backdoors. Like, again, I think I said they just want the easy button, and here it is. Like, commendable, absolutely commendable. Like Wade said, that they're able to find this type of information.
What's XMR? What coin is that?
That's
is that.
Oh God, it's. I want to say Ripple.
I got to right click and Google. It's Moreno. Okay, that's what I thought. They're also able to track it in Gate.io when another website, and when it was in Moreno and had them actually freeze currency too. So they were on the ball. So whoever was at Caesars that had that plan to alert the FBI, Monero, once again, like when this type of stuff happens, knowing your local agent or having at least that plan in place to actually talk to law enforcement can really help you out, or at least make it so the bad guys don't win just as much, right?
It's a start. It's definitely a start. It's a good start. So hopefully we see more stories like this.
Monero.
I should say. What else we got? Ransomware gang uses chicken to encrypt. No, that's something else.
Yeah, I mean, we got plenty of ransomware articles. I mean, it's like this is like the normal SOP around the world, right?
Yeah.
So, I think the other one that was kind of on the top here was that Sam's Club investigates the Clop ransomware breach claims.
All right. So Sam Club, an American warehouse supermarket chain owned by U.S. retailer Walmart, is investigating claims. They operate over 600 warehouses, United States and Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
2.3 million employees, bunch of money.
Oh, yeah.
Clop claims the breach after ransomware gang also started extorting dozens of victims. They used a 0-day to get in.
Oh, okay. So they're saying that it was not a breach, but rather a case of them obtaining username and passwords from phishing campaigns. Okay. We reset the password for these accounts, taking an additional. I mean, this is common for big organizations that have lots and lots of users of their platforms to get compromised in a bunch of different ways, right?
This is why they got to have MFA turned on.
Yeah.
Or they just put a CAPTCHA, that protects everybody.
Oh, yeah. CAPTCHAs are extremely safe. Like, gotta love those CAPTCHAs.
Yeah. Tell that to the domain I lost over the weekend.
You lost a domain over the weekend?
It was, well, I made a website for a nonprofit, and they've kind of stopped doing a whole lot of stuff, but the most traffic that domain has ever gotten is from hackers trying to brute force or otherwise attack the site. And while it was at Eastside San Diego, I got a notice from the host company saying, hey, your usage went off the charts. And I went in, and the cool thing, one of the reasons I use this host is because they've got good security. I've had them for years, and they just keep expanding and doing it right. And they suspended the account, they locked it down, and it's like, yeah, just nuke it. I'll do a backup. I've got backups. Nuke it. Let's take it off the board. It's going to be transferred to someone else soon anyway. So it's hard to stay ahead of this stuff because those blasted hackers are incessant. I finally had to turn off email notifications of every time they were trying to log in with a bogus user ID because I'd be getting 50 in 5 minutes.
We shouldn't have advertised you're at B-Side San Diego. That was my fault. Teaching an excellent how to build a local LLM class that she will now be teaching here. Highly suggest. See,
I do have the webcast on Thursday. That would have to be brought up at some point during the cast, but it was very cool. It was very nice. Been getting a lot of positive feedback. I gave the first one at scale, and then I did the workshop at B-Sides, and just wonderful students, wonderful questions, great people, good times.
Good stuff.
And you took a great photo of Kelly. I loved that picture.
Kelly really rocked that keynote. That was really cool.
I'm going to go next year for sure.
Buy your tickets quick.
Okay.
Buy your tickets quick. This is not.
I received so many asks for tickets. Wow. I've had people. This is the worst part. I'm going to say this out loud. Several of the times, if I got a ticket, I would immediately give it to the first person who asked me last because I didn't want to deal with it. And that worked out for like 4 people. And me saying that, you're going to be one of.
Oh my God! I can't believe it. I asked you, man.
You should have asked. I know. No. I told you you could couch surf. You didn't want to come out.
Couch surf. What is it? There's another article about the VanHelsing ransomware. Anyways, they're targeting Windows, ARM, and ESXi systems. I think there's like the bigger thing here. I know this is not that crazy. Is that they're just going after more than just Windows systems, right? Any systems they could possibly. I know ESXi. Honestly, ESXi is going to die here soon because Broadcom's about to sell that one down the river. So no one's going to have ESXi anymore. But anyhow, just targeting all the platforms they possibly can with all of it.
It's still a juicy target, right? Because it's got all the keys to the kingdom, right? And there's been a couple recent vulnerabilities with it. It's going to take everyone forever to slowly migrate off of it.
But they got that 80-20 rule here. 80% of the ransom payments go to the operator or go to the person who did the compromise, and only 20% go to the operator.
I didn't know that. That's a good ratio.
Yeah, and they use an escrow system.
Yeah.
So they never have access to they're not the person who's making the ransomware is not like, oh, we're taking all the money. Hopefully we pay you.
Sometimes I rethink my career.
Yeah.
I don't like how VanHelsing is targeting BSD. I just noticed that, and I don't like this. Makes me nervous.
No, there's no way they're making ransomware for BSD systems. Like any of you guys.
I literally just saw it on the article.
Yeah. You'll never pay. You'll never pay.
You see that there? That look at that. Oh my goodness.
You'll take that as an opportunity to just rebuild your system.
Pretty much. Yeah. Somebody will give me an idea. Hey, come on over to Arc. We're waiting for you. Like,
yes, you can compile everything.
Yes,
source. The whole thing. It's the most artisanal distro. Oh my god!
All right, here's an interesting one. As I'm reading news articles, trying to find cool stuff for us to talk about.
Oh, look at you!
Look at me actually reading the news.
Well, we do have kind of a pattern in the Malware Finds a Way. We've got 2 articles talking about NPM, and then another one that I added in.
NPM is really hot right now. It
is
hot.
And then on top of it, ransomware has also been found in VS Code extensions. And so what I'm seeing in those 3 articles in particular is this pattern of, NPM is a library that is used to help supplement web developers and other kinds of developers. And the VS Code extensions are similar. They're add-ons to help people who are using VS Code. And these sort of additional things are being targeted over and over again as a way into madness.
Yeah.
I will admit, as a blue teamer, the VS Code extension stuff is a little scary just because...
Oh, you're VS coding it?
Because I'm just vibing, you know?
I like that.
I don't know a lot of security people who are like digesting enough logs to really look at that type of stuff and what they're installing and what they're going. And also, or at least protections to prevent people from randomly downloading.
Yeah, there is an insane amount of extensions in the VS Code library, and they all do there's 5 extensions for the same thing too.
You're not sure which one's the best.
Yeah. It's like remember back in the day where it'd be download this file and there's 75 download buttons. They're all ads. The one that actually is to download the file. That's what it feels like with VS Code extensions, right?
That is true.
All of them are malware except for one.
And hopefully you don't have the luck of the draw. I mean, now you got me thinking about going back and checking out my Rust analyzer.
Dude, one time I logged into my VS Code and I hadn't logged in for a while, and a couple of the extensions were removed, and I was like, uh-oh. Why were those removed or turned off? And I'm like, what? And so diving into it, thinking did I get one? Did it hit me? But
I try to use the least amount of VS Code or Cursor extensions. Same thing.
Cursor, huh? Look who's vibe coding now.
I'm pretty bad. I'm in deep. I'm too deep.
Are you?
Too deep. Oh yeah.
We don't have any vibe coding articles, surprisingly.
Yeah. So, and I hear it too all the time, and I'm like, no, my coding's different. But anyways.
Yeah. So I'm an alien in that I'm still using stuff like Sublime Text and.
Oh yeah, you better at least get on VS Code.
I avoid visual editors and tools like the plague because I still have PTSD from a gajillion years ago dealing with all the bloat code generated by. I don't even remember the name.
It's okay. I guess we're aliens together. I still use VIM.
Oh,
I'm not quite that much of an alien.
I don't think you realize how much more productive you would be with just VS Code. Which, by the way, there's nothing visual about VS Code.
It doesn't generate bloat code.
I put up the screen too. Throw a little term in there to get the bottom screen.
I use rainbow tabs. It shows me, make sure everything's tabbed the right way. I'm very visual guy. I don't know if this is. I use Jupyter notebooks in Visual Code in VS Code, right? It's like a box inside of a box. But
you can use Jupyter notebooks inside VS Code.
Yeah, it's a lot easier. Then I get all the extensions. Yeah. It's
I feel like
very good.
Damn.
I feel like I'm sitting in a code confessionals meeting or something.
Well, wait till you figure out how to use MCPs, and then you'll know what's up.
Well, I'm gearing up for my next AI course, so I'm looking for ways to avoid melting my brain quite as many times.
Yeah, it's just so much out there. It's just kind of like you're like, oh, yeah.
If it weren't for the fact that I already know SQL, I already know Python, I already know how to do a whole bunch of this stuff, and then there's the stuff that I don't know. I feel like if I didn't have the advantages of the things I do, I'd be lost.
Speaking of losing stuff, let's go back to the
I love
to that
the
article I
segue
posted
master
above.
here. There you go.
Right. The EU bans anonymous crypto payments.
Ooh.
How are they going to do that? Don't ask me. But
I think that there's I feel like laws are just getting made up. They're like, you know what? We're just gonna make air ban it. You can't breathe air anymore,
dude.
Yeah, we'll see how that works.
We're all gonna breathe water soon. Am I?
Yeah, I know. It's just kind of
we're
like
gonna grow gills.
Do this. Yeah, exactly. I mean, insert your funny.
So the legislation applies to payments made through online service providers, also known as hosted wallets. I probably should have read this one before I read the other ones, but it also applies to platforms that exchange regular fiat currency if it does not apply to owners' hardware self-hosted wallets. So technically, if Bitcoin is anonymous, could you still use that, right? This is when we need to read these beforehand, but this is kind of interesting. I don't think it's like one of those laws that's just put in place to be put in place. Don't know how you're going to really affect criminals or how you're going to stop people from still doing this. Yeah. There's a quote in here that generally prohibiting anonymous payments would at best have minimal effects on crime, but it would deprive innocent citizens of their financial freedoms. That's pretty much where I'm at.
Yeah, and it talks of anonymous donations and, when you're a dissident and you go, it's like, I need to raise money, and you go, oh, I want to give money to help this dissident, and it's like, yeah, you can't do it anonymously. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you definitely. That's really the bad stuff right there.
Isn't cash anonymous? If I wear a mask,
to an extent,
cash.
To an extent.
Yeah, cash is totally not anonymous. You know what I mean? Like that's honestly, drug dealers hate cash. They hate it. Hate it.
Well, what if you wear gloves?
How do you know this?
I was going to ask the same question, but then I saw like his tag is Florida man, so I'm like that.
Coding confessionals part 2.
Yeah.
The next sentence of that quote, I should have kept going. The medicines or sex toys I buy is nobody's business. That was the next sentence.
I mean, listen. The truth is, they're right. Right? It's, like, why is that the government's business? Mm-hmm. I mean, legitimately, if we want to talk about just like where the government's lane is, whichever government, it doesn't matter where you're at. It shouldn't
government
be
as a general category.
Yeah, as a general category, it shouldn't be, about the prescription medications that I'm taking, right? Or the, the sex toys or whatever, right? It's really just none of their business. I kind of agree. All right.
I always wonder, is it chicken time? Oh,
it's
I can't.
time.
It's chicken time. All right, you can do the chicken article then.
Oh, I didn't read it.
You didn't read it? It's literally like one sentence.
This is a note where we're really winging it.
All right, so it sounds like
South Africa.
Yes, in South Africa they got cooked. And
broiled even.
Broiled, baby.
Done.
Yes.
Essentially,
there was a cybersecurity incident. The company disaster recovery protocols. However, there was some downtime. This downtime is going to cost them a bunch of money to catch up in the backlog of chicken production. And supposedly they lost like $1 million.
Wow.
And they argued no confidential sensitive data. So essentially they got ransomware most likely. I'm just not sure what Mostly they're just saying we lost money because of production, and it doesn't say they paid anything.
This might be time to develop poultry protocols.
Yeah.
This article taught me that there's a breed of chicken called broiler chickens. I feel like that's
yes.
really
There's different
bad,
types of chickens. Yeah.
There are so many different kinds of chickens.
So there's
Those ones are meant to be
levels
eaten,
chickens.
but chicken levels.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, chicken
okay. So
levels.
there are different types of chicken. Some of them for laying eggs. Some of them for eating. They don't all taste good. Not everything tastes like chicken. I mean,
Well, yeah. So it's kind of like how data travels through a network card. So you got your encapsulation and the decapsulation type scenario there.
So, anyway,
Is this going to affect the price of eggs at all?
oh my God,
Good
there's
question.
nothing that can raise the price of eggs
They're
anymore.
broiler chickens.
Yeah.
This is going. This goes
This is a great
directly
expectation.
with the direct article that we read where where there was like chicken wings versus eggs, and eggs were going up, but chicken wings were going down. Right?
Yeah.
Different types of chicken, so we're fine.
Right.
I forgot. I read that article about the National Chicken Institution or something like that. I was pretty amazed.
So there's a wing division. All right.
Oh God. Well, and all right. So, chicken article aside, right?
Yeah.
Funny because it's chickens, but the any vertical, right, is susceptible. Essentially, every company's got IT now, right? Which is why MSPs are so popular nowadays. 'Cause they don't really deal with any of it, but they all have IT. They all need email. They all need Teams and Zoom and meetings and all the other stuff. Even if it's meetings about chickens. I mean, I don't know. But this is all still going on. It's not like everybody's like, we don't need a computer at our business. Nothing. We need no computers. So yeah, and it's also appropriate that it would be in another country, which probably has less budget for security stuff.
So hey, I learned something new today. So there's levels of chickens, just like there's flavors of Linux. I mean, they go hand in hand. You know.
All right. Well, I think we broiled our last article.
We went through a lot today. We didn't. I'm happy for us. I feel like we're lighthearted. Did all the articles.
We did a lot of articles. We
did.
Maybe we were an Intel feed today.
And we
It was
dodged
a light week,
bullets.
though.
I thought that was handled well. So
It was a light week, especially because I was not reading any news articles for the past week. So that's I'll give
you single-handedly
It's
make all the articles. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'll blame myself. Me and a couple of different ChatGPT bots. Just pump them out.
Gosh! Just
Oh,
pump them
man.
out. Yeah.
You guys didn't know this, but I'm really a billionaire news article writer in the background.
How do you get paid for this?
Awesome, Wade. Awesome. Just
Ghostwriters,
happening?
Ghost
Do you remember?
writers?
Do you remember it at Way West Hackin' Fest? We read an article that was like clearly AI written. Like, it was like,
oh yeah, we were just dying laughing,
and we were
Who is
roasting
this
it.
guy? Like,
After that moment, I realized I could be an AI writer too.
Yeah, you know what the funny part is that when we were reading it, we realized that we had gotten too. We're like spreading this like worthless article as a group, and then realizing
They got us. We did it.
we had read this.
you realized it.
Yeah.
How many people don't?
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, there's just so many articles too. And like in some of these, even from the places that we do find a good article, there'd be like 10 kind of like fluff articles and then like one real article that actually happened that week, like one like real story,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, most infosec articles like you have to skip to like the second to last paragraph to get like the real key items.
Yeah.
Like I've started doing that. Like scroll down to the bottom, go up one paragraph, go up one paragraph more, and you go, oh, there's the
That's
whole
the meat and
like,
potatoes right there.
that's
Yeah.
the whole like meat of the thing. And because usually like the last paragraph is like we reached out to the company and they didn't have any comment, and that's like the last. But like above it is the whole like key item going on there.
I've been working on
The heart
an
of the
AI
matter.
Or you
to
get the
read
medium
all my
paywall
articles.
pop up.
And
How
that
do we-
last article kind of just made me think about all of the small shops that don't have an MSP. They they're so small. Hats off to them. I mean, there's just so much to be vigilant about now when you just have a skeleton crew like that.
Oh yeah, business email compromise. They're looking for you too. They're dying to make that next little one. So, anyways,
I just totally realized I could export this entire our notes section and just upload it to ChatGPT and have it.
and then just have it summarize it for you. Oh my God!
Look at that.
Here's what I've been doing. I have an agent that's scouring for articles for me and just lets me know when there's good ones.
Oh, God damn you and agents. I don't. I'm not that crazy. I'm not installing one of those on here.
What? I didn't install it on anything. It just runs in the cloud.
Agentic AI.
Yes, it's in
all
the
the
cloud.
rage.
It's everywhere.
Well,
it's in your
If it's in the
computer.
cloud,
It's
it's on
mysterious.
somebody else's hardware.
Yeah, it's not my
I'm going to
computer.
take my Windows 11 and go offline. All right.
Yeah. Good luck, buddy.
Good luck with that.
Speaking of going offline, all right, everybody, thank you for joining us, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Later.
Bye.
Ow!